I grew up in a very interesting family dynamic as a child. Everyone had a large personality in my family, but the three that stood out the most were that of my grandmother, aunt, and my mother. My grandmother was never renowned as a great cook, but she did have a certain style. As my mother describes it, we ate a lot of chicken, instant potatoes, and anything doused in mushroom soup. I cannot remember anything else. My aunt would wholeheartedly agree with this experience. However, she chose to remember the cooking of her grandmother. She said, "I will go the route of your great-grandma Murray. Everything she cooked, from fried eggs to fried bacon, was delicious because she cooked it with love. I never cooked with her, but I watched her cook. She was so basic. Simple cooking. Salt, butter, lard. Basic, but always delicious. It skips a generation, I swear. Honestly, she was an amazing cook. Nothing special, nothing fancy, just an amazing cook. Everything was handmade and always delicious." My grandmother also chose to remember her mother's cooking. My mother used to make spaghetti and soups. We sometimes ate cereal for supper, cold in the summer, and pancakes. Cheaper meals, things that were reasonable, French toast, and we had a lot of oatmeal for breakfast. When I got older, she would let us help. There were always open flames. There was a caution of cooking around the stove until us children were older. I started cooking with Mom in junior high. When she was sick, I could help make meals. But mostly, we helped in cleaning up after them. After asking them all about what they remembered about food in their past, I then wanted to know if this has shaped their future eating and cooking habits. My mom replied, "I eat a lot of takeout and frozen meals. It's easier because I don't often eat supper until late at night. Occasionally I'll bake. I like to make bread during the winter, but I'm not a big cook. Know your limits when cooking. I can't cook, and I don't pretend to." I found this really interesting because my mom has one specialty at the holidays, green bean casserole, which is green beans drenched in mushroom soup. Obviously, she's taking the lead from her mother. However, my aunt had sage advice and wisdom when it came to cooking. She said, "Bacon is the key to a good meal. Fried bacon. Bacon is snuck into everything I make now, and there is no shame in saying store-bought. Try to keep your cooking simple. I'm not a fancy cook. I try to cook with love. If you just warm something up and throw it together, everyone will notice because it is not cooked with love. It was just put in front of them out of necessity. Don't forget that whole butter with salt in it, and bacon, and cooking with love are the keystones to a good meal." As for my grandmother, she harks back to simpler times. I like to sometimes go to comfort foods and make them to fall back on. Tomato soup with egg noodles, fried spaghetti, and yellow bean soup. Sometimes when I'm feeling lonely or sad, I fall back on these foods. It reminds me of comforting childhood foods, happy times. What can I take from all of this? My family is obviously completely split on their ideas about food, and I can confirm that by saying that I also have different experiences and values regarding food. But in the end, it seems that we are all still able to gather around the table at holidays and family gatherings to cook and enjoy food together, but not without a few choice arguments.